Welcome back to the Dynasty Rewind YouTube channel, everybody. And it's Mock Monday. It's your best time of the week. Hey, why not start the week off the right way with another fantastic mock draft? So I'm your host, Michael Bauer. You can find me on Twitter at Rewind CEO. We also got Matty Big Chest at Matty Big Chest, Nate Christian at Nate NFL, and Bob Van Duzer at Bob Van_IDP. And we have a special guest joining us tonight. We got Smitty. You've seen him before. There's no way you haven't seen this guy before. Smitty, great to have you here. To those of us or those of our viewers who do not know you, where can we find you and what do you have going on?
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. This will be fun. I haven't done any mock drafts with a premium tight end and Superflex, so this will be interesting. You can find me at Smitty1.com. That's where kind of all my stuff is consolidated in one place. You can find all the podcast links, my YouTube channel. Main thing I have going on is I have a YouTube channel, and it's called the Fantasy Football Show, and you can find it at Smitty1.com. And I'm live all the time, but I have an actual live 3-hour show from 4 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday and Wednesday. I have all kinds of amazing guests on and 3-hour rant topics and all that. So it's your drive time, listen and watch, or hopefully you're not watching while you're driving, but maybe you're in a Tesla or you're on a bus or something and you can watch, but your drive time and replay, when you get home from work, a daily, show eventually. Right now I'm Tuesdays and Thursdays, but it will be a Monday through Friday thing very, very soon, 3 hours a day. So that's where you can find me. Check me out if you're interested.
Man, that is a lot of live streaming. I give you credit for doing that. Who did we just lose? We lost Matty, but he'll be back real soon. So we got this mock going here. It's going to be a good one. 12 teams, got all of us here, and that also includes a good friend Matty Big Chest, who just came back. Porkman is kind of backstage, and we also got Chev. We got Dan Rose here, and then we have some of our patrons also helping us out here. So check us out, patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind. I want to thank you to all of our new subs as well. So let's get it started. And Bob, you made this draft up, so why don't you go ahead and hit the start clock? All right, so Bob took the 101, which just tells me that he came in last place last season, so he is on the clock first.
Yeah, I have to. I came in last in a lot of leagues, so I have to get used to drafting at that spot. Just kidding. I did pretty well. I'm at the back end of most of my drafts, but I like to take the 101. I like to leave the analysis to the other rookie analyst studs at it. So I'm gonna not get cute. I'm gonna take Trevor Lawrence here. I don't know if there's a huge discussion there, even if we do see Justin Fields go to San Fran at 3. I think Trevor Lawrence is still and possibly should be the pick there. But yeah, that's where I'm at on him.
Okay, great. So we're going to move to our next pick. We got Porkman on the clock at the 1-2, and he takes Justin Fields. So kind of figured
Smart
he would
man.
do that. Yeah, and now we got Smitty.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Was that Matty?
Classic Ohio State sound drop right there for Justin Fields. We got with the 103 on the clock. It's a pretty big pick here. We'll see who. Lord, I hope you do justice to my boy.
As badly as I want to go, I got time, right? Okay, I got time.
Yep.
It's just tough because Superflex, 2 QB league. Is it mandatory 2 QB or just Superflex?
Just Superflex.
Okay, so it determines a little bit where you go. I want to go Kyle Pitts really badly here.
Not in premium, so.
Yeah, but I believe Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are head and shoulders above the rest of this QB class. No offense to the Fields pick. I think Fields could land in San Fran. That'll be a really, really potent spot. So even as a rookie, he'll do well. And be protected into Jalen Hurts type value, which is like 6 to 10 in fantasy. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like Zach Wilson, this guy's special. And I'm actually uploading a YouTube video right now that breaks down the top 5 quarterbacks in 22-minute detail. And I rewatched about 3 hours of Zach Wilson footage last night. I still got a minute 23 seconds, right? All right.
Yep.
I rewatched a couple hours of Trevor Lawrence. I want to make sure I have this thing right. So January, February, I do a detailed breakdown. The ball is dropping. It's midnight on January 1. Everybody's out drinking, but no, not me. I'm at home with my finger up like this, about ready to press the button to inject all my rookie content onto my platforms, ready to go, right away. And I do all my intense detailed breakdowns on these guys January, February. And then I come back around right before the NFL draft to see what I missed. And Zach Wilson stood out so much more even than he did last time when he was my number 2 ranked QB. The quick release this guy has, you can throw it from anywhere on the field. I truly believe he's got that Patrick Mahomes potential, in some of his play. I'm not saying he will be that good yet, but I'm going to go ahead and go Zach Wilson. Let's make sure I hit the correct button there. And they got to get rid of that wow when we're doing a Superflex. So I love Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. And so easy pick for me in a 2 QB league, but I was very tempted to go Kyle Pitts.
Okay. So Zach Wilson goes off at 1-3. We got Trey Lance coming off the board at 1-4. Kyle Pitts taken by Chev at the 1-5. And now our intern, Sean, is up with the 1-6. Let's see what he does here. What do you guys think? Do you think he's not going to reach, or do you think quarterback here, or maybe first running back?
Mac Jones, Patriots.
You think he's taking Mac Jones to the Patriots? That's probably a safe bet.
I think he's going to go Najee.
Yeah, he's going Najee.
All right,
he's trying to, Mac Jones is kind of a, man, where's he going to even be? I don't think he'll be in New England. He could be, I guess. I think Denver trades up and is most likely to have a quarterback that kind of feels a little unexpected. I think they trade up. I think Denver definitely gets involved. They got to get Jerry Jeudy, somebody to throw him the football.
With the Falcons, I could see a Broncos-Falcons trade.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Sean's really thinking about this pick.
He's got to
I
put
know I
all
got
his
no room to talk,
deliberation
Sean,
into
but you're
it.
taking your sweet time.
He's not even on
Smitty,
camera.
talked us through his pick.
When you're an intern, you make a safe pick like this. You don't want to go crazy and get yourself ousted right away. So this was safe and smart, Sean, for your career.
Yep.
Then at the 1-7, Jamar Chase goes off, and Rozier at the 1-8 takes Travis Etienne. That brings up Matty Big Chest with the 1-9. Let's see. Do we see Mac Jones come off the board now? Possibly.
This is gonna be an interesting pick because I wanted to originally.
It's Rondale.
Boy, Rondale. I wanted to take Rondale Moore originally. You know me, Bob, but you can't do that with this much value here. Mac Jones is.
Can I trade you my future first rounder and my next 2 picks for this pick?
Nope.
Yeah, because it would be Mac Jones. I mean, that would be fine with me, but I'm taking Mac Jones here for the purpose of the mock.
Yeah.
It's such a value at the 1-9.
Okay. So Mac Jones off the board, and crazy value too. Was kind of hoping Matty, if this was an actual league, I was hoping Matty would not take Mac Jones there. I'd love to see him fall to me at the 1-10. Oh boy. Let's see. Got definitely some stud players on the board. For the record, if this were a real league right now, I would look to trade back. Not saying that there's not any players on here that I don't like, but I would just try to maximize on the 110 pick. But for me, I love a lot of the wide receivers that are on the board, but I'm going to go ahead and take my running back too. That's Javonte Williams at the 110.
All right. So I'm up. I think this is a pretty easy pick for me. This guy is my wide receiver 1 and actually my number 3 prospect on my big board, just for tape grade. And that is DeVonta Smith. There's no one like him. And I think he's going to have no issue being pro ready, hopping in, having an incredible season. He's going to be a top, 15 pick in the NFL draft. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I think DeVonta Smith, he's my number 1 player on the board, the whole board. Not a super flex tight end premium, but in 1 QB leagues. And that's who I would have traded up for if I was able to make that trade. Future first rounder, give you my second and third round. I don't care. I want DeVonta Smith. I think he's got the potential to be a top 1 to 5 wide receiver in fantasy football in a good year and a half.
You want the next Justin Jefferson? DeVonta Smith.
Yeah. You want the next DeVonta? People will be comparing them players to DeVonta Smith soon, so you just wait. He'll be the one people are talking about.
Exactly.
I don't doubt this guy at all. Just unreal. Like the weight is the only argument anybody has, and I just don't buy into it.
Agreed. And then Kyron takes Rashod Bateman at the 112, and that brings Bob Van back up with the 2-1.
For me, this is fairly easy looking at the board. I love Michael Carter, but I'm going to go with Jaylen Waddle here. What I think he does to a team on the field as a explosive player, I like his upside. I think he's got some risk here and there, but at the end of the day, an explosive receiver like that can really change an offense and put up points for your fantasy team.
Bob read my Jaylen Waddle thread today and was like, wow, got to get this guy.
No, I didn't.
So definitely check out Nate's thread.
Wait, you're saying you didn't read his thread?
No, I didn't today. I didn't have a chance.
He puts out great content. Nate's putting out fire content. The last 16 days, he's put out prospects to watch. I'm upset because he hasn't put out Nico Collins
Not yet,
but that just means he hasn't put him out yet. So he'll be in the top 30. He'll just be really
number
high.
Q.
Number Q, which is an inside joke between our group chat. But yeah, we love Nico Collins at the Dynasty Rewind. He just didn't make Nate's top 30, but check out his top 30 on Twitter. It's great.
All right, and then at the Porkman takes Rondale Moore at the 2-2. So Smitty, you're back up with the 2-3.
Yeah, man, this is tough because I'm not in a position where I could wait anymore, and I should be waiting because he'll probably fall a little bit further based on the pre-rank list here, which is your friend when the players ranked really low. But I think the draft will maybe tell a different story and move his ADP up a ton. And this might shock people, but he's actually my dark horse, favorite running back in this draft class. And I think he could land in a really good spot and just really alter his value. But I'm really, really all about Chuba Hubbard. And I love that people look at his last season, which he opted out a portion of it. And people aren't looking at that previous year where he looked absolute, fire. And had he had had he come out last year or had that kind of year heading into this draft, it'd be a whole different story. So I think if he lands in San Fran, that could be kind of a sneaky spot. I think he could land in a cloudy situation, but maybe he lands in Arizona. Maybe he lands in a place where he could climb up and the talent level isn't that crazy. So I'm going with Hubbard.
I completely agree, Smitty. I think Hubbard is a guy that's going to, astronomically rise in ADP after the draft. I think he's going to get day 2 draft capital, decent landing spot, and people are going to be all over it.
Yes,
right,
sir.
Chuba Hubbard at the 2-3 by Smitty there. Great pick. And then Pat Freiermuth at the 2-4 by Stever75. That brings Chev Boyardee back up. Let's see what he does. He's got about 2.5 minutes left.
He would have gone Hubbard if Smitty didn't snipe him.
Oh, for sure. Took Kyle Pitts at the 1-5. I feel a wide receiver here. Could be wrong.
I'm thinking he's going to go with Kenneth Gainwell or Tylan Wallace.
Okay.
Ooh, just either that. I don't think he's going to reach on Kadarius Toney yet.
Or Jordan. Does he go Jordan? A lot of people like Brevin Jordan, but I don't know.
I'm not a fan of Jordan's for some reason. I just didn't see it when I turned on the tape. I saw more on Athletic Johnny. I like him, but it's just I don't see the grade values.
I find myself not taking, tight ends and quarterbacks in a crazy fashion once the top dogs go off the board. I know you guys like Mac Jones, but I'm not even super high on Mac Jones. So once those top 4 quarterbacks are off the board and Kyle Pitts is off the board, I'm back in 1 QB mode in terms of where I rank everybody. That's just the way I draft because I don't see a ton of value in taking a stab at a quarterback just because he's a quarterback or Jordan. I don't like him either. I was just thinking that might be where he'd go. Yeah. So I'm interested, especially if I'm in an existing league and let's say you're drafting, I'm interested in getting that 1 point, look at the 1.8, 1.7, 1.6 1.10, 1.11. Like those guys are absolute fire, and they're falling into a crazy value range right there. And so if you are set up well at quarterback, you don't need to play this game where you're overvaluing everybody to the moon. So kind of depends on where you're at.
Yeah, I moved the 102 in a league for the 108, the 109, and I just snuck out with all those picks, man, because look at this value we see on the board here. I mean, you have DeVonta Smith still there. You have Javonte Williams still there. You have Mac Jones falling to the 109. Like, those are good values for me in Superflex drafts, and you can't pass on those guys. And I would totally sacrifice the value of Justin Fields or Zach Wilson for adding 2 more players to my team that are good picks, like DeVonta Smith and a Javonte. Those would be 2 players that could totally flip your roster around.
Yeah, and Javonte Williams is probably the one guy on this entire board here that could go from like literal rags or medium rag level to the 1.1. Because if he lands, let's say in Pittsburgh or in New York or especially Miami, and it's possible, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was not supposed to be going to the Chiefs last year in the first round at the last pick. It's possible. And Javonte Williams would climb to a lot of people's 1.01 if he landed in Miami, especially with the it happening right before your draft. There's going to be a lot of fresh, buzz about it. So he's going to climb higher than he even should. But he's a good player, and you could argue the most well-rounded running back in the entire draft class. You could argue.
I definitely think so. He has a 1.5 year age difference between Travis Etienne and Najee Harris. That's a 1.5 years more that you're going to get him in the NFL. For dynasty purposes, if you're rebuilding, that's the running back to take. If you're a contender, I would still take Najee. I think with your first, if you're taking the first running back off the board, but if you're really set to just rebuild your team, I would look at Javonte Williams.
How much you guys really factor that in to the equation when you're talking about age profiles and stuff? Because to be honest, a running back's got a 3-4 year window now, no matter what age he is, whether he's 22, 23, 24, 25, and 25 used to be young to fall off. Todd Gurley, you're like, oh God, you fall off at 30, right? But now it's like a 4 to 5 year window. So if you're 20, 21, 22, like what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I don't think I care too much about their age coming into the league. From what I've seen analytically, it's less about what age they are coming into the league and what age they drop off. It's more about how many years they've been in the league, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not about, you come in the league at 20 versus 22.
Yeah.
Guys fall off after 5 years in the league, after 6 years in the league. It doesn't matter when they came in. The wear and tear after so many years in the NFL is what causes it, not just age. So
yeah,
I'm not too worried about it myself.
I look at it that way. I get that there's statistical data that can help drive a little bit of the argument. I understand that, but a guy like James Robinson, I'm not even sure exactly what his age is, but people discounting him because he's on a restricted free agent, like things like that. I don't let those things affect me too much. How old a player is, as long as he's not, Mike Davis old. Where he's 27, 28 years old, and people are looking at him like a dynasty gem. I like him a lot for 2021, by the way. But for 1 year, it's like a case by case, year by year basis with him. But I do know that if you're younger and you tear your ACL or you have a big injury like that, is a higher probability you get back to 100% and quicker if you're younger. So there's that advantage. If they do injure themselves in the pros, they'll have a chance to kind of rebound. But yeah, I feel like 3 or 4 year window is all I'm looking for anyway from a running back, and that's why I build in dynasty wide receiver where I can, and especially in like an auction format. You're obviously not drafting wide receiver, but allocating dollars to wide receivers in a similar fashion. That's kind of how I build. I'd much rather have a Justin Jefferson and an AJ Brown than to have 2 back-to-back running backs at 12 and 13, to be honest.
All right, so
with the 209, we took Nico Collins from the University of Michigan, the big-bodied, fast wide receiver who has a chance to be an alpha X receiver in the NFL. can't hate it because it's an upside pick. I like him more than some of the other players on the board right now. There's some good values there, but they're not as athletic as Nico Collins is. Nico, if he can go in day 2 capital, I'd be taking him here all day. So this is a hypothetical pick. If he goes in day 2, I'd be taking him at the 2.8 or 2.9.
All right. So at the 2.9, Nico Collins, and if you follow Matty Big Chest on Twitter, which you should, make sure that you get some graphics done too. Even if you don't do anything, just get some sort of graphics made. Matty's going to set you up. 2.9 for Nico Collins. We're going to talk about whether or not that was a reach after the draft here. So I'm going to go ahead and yes, everybody, Kylin Hill is still on the board, but I'm going to go ahead, go a little different. I'm going to take a guy I really like, 210, great value, Tylan Wallace, Oklahoma State. So now we are up to Nate.
All right, man. I got DeVonta Smith in the first round. I think I want to hit up running back here. I think there's some decent wide receivers in the third round I can grab with a chance to have success. So I'm going to take a guy that I think is also going to have a boost in ADP after the draft. I think he's going to be a post-draft riser. Someone mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers as a landing spot, like in the second or third round. I'm loving that landing spot for this player. It's Trey Sermon. So the film on Trey Sermon is a tale of two tapes. We look at the Oklahoma tape, and it's not that impressive. I mean, he had some moments, flash moments, but he was very inconsistent. But the tape that we see at the end of the Ohio State season this past year, I mean, if that guy is the guy that we're getting in the NFL, he's going to be a top running back. So I think he's, coming off that momentum of the end of the season, I think he's going to get some good draft capital, and we'll see him rise after the draft.
Okay. All right.
I like it. I think Steelers, I envision him maybe there too. So
yeah,
it's a potential landing spot.
All right. So let's see what Kyron does with the 212 here.
While we wait, let's throw it to Porkman and see what he's doing.
Jesus.
He's muted.
Being muted is what he's doing.
You muted me, Mike. That was your fault. Sitting here
Oh,
on the
yeah,
bed, just looking at this board.
Porkman likes Trey Sermon
later on, honestly, in this third round, and Kyron just took my pick that I had in my queue. Dyami Brown's a really good pick in this at this spot at this point of the draft, in my opinion. Had him over Nico Collins, of course, but that's Maddie's thing.
Yep, it is. It is definitely. So thanks for tuning in, Pork. Let's go back to our stream.
Nope.
Oh, cut him off.
Nope.
Don't worry, I remuted him too.
Okay, good.
All right. So Bob's
Man.
back up. About 2.5 minutes left.
Nate, what's it like when you're when the running back you really like falls to you? What's that like?
It's really, really nice.
Oh, I know where we're going here.
I would have. No. We're not going there. I was talking about Michael Carter.
That's
not
what I'm
falling
saying.
to me. Oh yeah.
I mean, there was
That's where we're
no
going
way.
then. Yep.
No way Michael Carter was going
I
to
know.
the third.
I was praying. But man, I'm looking at my options, and I know the fantasy community is pretty low on him, but the NFL community seems to be pretty high on him, and pretty polarizing to a lot of people. Most people friggin' hate him, but like I said, the NFL sees something in him, and that's why I'm going to roll with Kadarius Toney. I think he's a solid player, but again, like I said, the NFL sees something. He's rising up boards, and I think that's something the NFL sees players through a different lens than we do, and I think that's something that we need to take into account more often than not. And I think at this point, you're kind of throwing darts anyway, so may as well take a shot on somebody that the NFL is pretty high on.
All right. I agree. And let's see. Okay. Porkman taking Elijah Moore at the 3-2.
Buns.
Okay. Maddie's not a fan of that one.
That's the other player I was torn
you
on.
could definitely do worse in the beginning of the third round than Elijah Moore.
I completely agree. All right. So,
I think the only thing I can do here is go take a stab at the running back market again, and I just think that Hill
Mike's heart.
yeah, right through my heart. I'm a huge Kylin Hill fan.
Yeah, I think in the right spot, landing spot's everything at this point. I mean, that goes without saying. But I think if he got in the right spot, or at least a place he can climb up, he'd do pretty well, especially if he put on a little weight. But I think, I think he's got the potential. And, I got 2 running backs. I think I land one of them.
For sure. Okay, Amon-Ra St. goes off the board at the 3-4, and Chev is back up with the 3-5. Tamorrion Terry. Okay.
Going upside.
Going for the ceiling there. Going for the ceiling. All right, let's see what our intern does at the 3-6.
Tamorrion Terry is such an interesting player. 6'4", 210 pounds, probably runs like a high 4.3, low 4.4 at that weight, which is crazy. But dude does not look good on film.
He really doesn't.
Also, he opted out, so couldn't see him this year.
At the 3-6 to the intern. Let's see what Nick does here at the 3-7.
Yeah, he ran a 4.45 40, Nate, so it was not great for him.
Smitty, how you feeling about this 3rd round so far?
Yeah, I like Toney. I like Moore. I think those are guys that slipped out of round 2, probably, either by default or just 1 or 2 players going that, those feel like 2nd round picks to me. Past that, Kylin Hill, I like a lot as up the end of the 2nd round, so I was pretty happy with him in the 3rd. Jefferson, I almost, toyed around with at my pick there at 3.3. But, I feel like it gets really thin here, and there's maybe 3 or 4 guys I usually really like a lot in the 3rd round, and then it starts. That's why I trade a lot of my 3rd, 4th, 2nd. I package them all together in one deal. I'm a big trader, and I love to get now talent or move up for one player, like the DeVonta Smith move. Like I would literally get rid of a future 1st rounder that I would consider to be number 12 overall, in my mind, and a 2nd and 3rd, whatever I got to do to move a pick up or try and get that DeVonta Smith type player. Like I love the value of Jamar Chase at 1.7. That's phenomenal. Kyle Pitts even at 1.5 in this format. But the one that stands out is DeVonta Smith at 1.11. Like I feel like 2 QB leagues shouldn't change his value that much, in my opinion, but it does.
All right, and Matty Big Chest sniping me at the 3-9. That was who I had queued up next. So
there's another good Clemson wide receiver who averaged over 100 yards per game in his last 6 games played. His name's Cornell Powell, and that's who you took.
That is who I took. I'm high on Cornell Powell, and some people might think I'm crazy. I like Amari Rodgers better than Elijah Moore for what it's worth. I know Elijah Moore has kind of been the toast of fantasy Twitter, which if you're not on it is a very toxic place. You're really not missing anything. But for me, I would go Amari, Elijah, and then Cornell Powell. So obviously both of those guys are gone. But I'm going wide receiver here instead of taking a dart throw on a running back. If this was a rookie draft that was another round or 2, I'd start taking some dart throws on a Rhamondre Stevenson or something like that. Guys that I think might be a little bit better for the NFL than fantasy, but always good to have on your roster because you never know at the end of the day. So let's see what.
All right, let's see Marlon Williams.
Ooh.
Oh, I know where this is going.
We all know where this is going. We all know where this is going. 3rd rounds. It's an easy pick. Come on, we're talking dart throws. This is a sure hit right here. It's Pooka Williams.
Oh, God.
I mean,
just going Jamon Usbon.
I do like him a little bit, but he's got to land in like a couple spots. If he does, though, he would be pretty interesting.
I just hope he gets drafted, man.
Yeah, I mean, but he'd have to fall. I mean, like we've mocked. I do a lot of 49er community stuff.
Yeah. He's getting mocked to the 49ers.
We've mocked him there in round 4 or 5. He's all over the map. Some people have mocked him higher, lower, but that would be kind of a cool spot for him.
Yeah,
like
the 49ers were actually at Pooka Williams' pro day. They asked him to work out as a wide receiver and out of the slot, out of running back, kick return.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you imagine if Mostert and Wilson both got hurt, he's the only back left. Like it would be pretty crazy. It'd be Pooka season.
Let's go back to Amari Rodgers. They worked him out at running back as well. So if you're looking for a guy as well, he could get the running back wide receiver tag.
Until ESPN takes it away.
Yeah, but we play on Sleeper primarily at the Rewind. We're Sleeper only. We don't play ESPN for Dynasty leagues.
Until everybody cries and takes it away.
Yeah, that's true.
You,
Sleeper took away.
You get my tone. I'm obviously a Taysom Hill strategist. I was involved in a lot of that, and I couldn't believe. Like I honestly still will argue with people like crazy, get into crazy arguments about it when they try and tell me that he was not deserving of multiple position tags. Like there was no player in the NFL more worthy of having and holding. Like in baseball, you guys play fantasy baseball. I don't have time for it, but they don't take away designation spots after you have played a position, and just because everybody's upset that they knew it was there, but they didn't do anything about it. Sorry, it was a fun, entertaining time for me, and it gets a lot of hate though. Like it was like 80%. Because think about it. You don't own them. You don't want it to happen. So one person in every league liked what you were talking about. The rest of the people were like, no, cheating, complete cheating. He should not be tight end eligible.
Collusion.
Yeah, it was a fun topic, but people got mad. I had people saying unfollowing you, and I'm like, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he even give you? I mean, he didn't do too much in the tight end position for you guys, but like he gave you a solid floor, I guess, of like 10 points.
He did pretty good. If
there was like a couple weeks. Weeks. But like in the playoffs, when it came time, you didn't get the points you needed from him. But we ended with Rhamondre Stevenson, and I wanted to say on him, this guy's like an offensive guard in the backfield, man. I didn't see a better pass blocker on tape than Rhamondre Stevenson. So he's gonna get somewhere, and he's gonna end up on third downs, pass protecting. And he's a big guy too. So I envision him using as a big power back role, similar to like Garrett Blunt. That's who I compare him to. Very powerful back. And he's not scared to throw a stiff arm. He's always running with his hand out like this, about to throw his hand in your face, and he's violent with it. So I like Rhamondre Stevenson. It's a good pick to end the third.
Yeah. No, I like that too. And like I said, 4th, 5th round, if the draft kept going, he's a guy that I'd look to take a dart throw on. So, but before we wrap it up, Smitty, do you want to just any closing thoughts on this mock draft here?
That's it. We're done.
Yeah, that's it. 3 rounds, man. We're out.
We're out. There's no more rookie talk. We're just going to bed.
Talk Nico Collins.
We're just getting ready for the pro day tomorrow for Lance Jones Trey Lance Jones. Trey Lance. That's it.
Lance Jones is my 101.
Yeah, Lance. I mean, this was fun. I've got a top 5 quarterback show uploading right now. In fact, it is T-minus 0 seconds away from being posted, and it honestly it's a really, really good. It's 22 minutes of a deep dive into these quarterbacks where I talk about, like I said earlier, Lawrence and Zach Wilson just being like a whole nother level above these other guys, but that situation matters, and that I believe Trey Lance is the best fit in that Niners system. I'm not sure if you guys agree or if you like Fields there, but I think adding that running dynamic, one that you can actually like design plays for. I know Fields can still wiggle and get up and go, but he's not that type of quarterback. Lance is going to, run for 50, 60 yards and a touchdown on a lot in a lot of weeks. So and then talking about, where Fields would be if he wasn't in San Fran, or if he was, because I think whoever lands there is going to do well. But do you guys see anything happening? The last thing I guess I'd ask you guys is, do you see anything happening strangely in the top 4, top 5 overall, aside from maybe a Denver trade up? Do you think that the Jaguars maybe surprise everybody and don't take Lawrence? I don't think that'll happen. Do you think the Jets could maybe take Fields? I don't think that'll happen. But those are the kind of things that people are trying to kick around right now and see if there's any movement to that.
Did you see the Zach Wilson tweet about Chipotle?
No, not yet.
He tweeted that he had white rice, black beans, and green verde salsa on his burrito, and that's the Jets colors. So he's hinting right there, cryptic tweet, that he's going to the Jets 102. I'm just joking around, but I think he is going to the Jets. I think it's pretty chalk. I think it's 101 and 102 there. And then 103 is going to be the interesting one, like you said. I think it will be Fields. I think he has the most talent out of the remaining quarterbacks, but Trey Lance is the most upside. I think the floor for Justin Fields is greater than Trey Lance's. So I think San Francisco doing the smart thing will take Justin Fields, get a good rushing quarterback as well. He's no slouch, runs a 4.4, but he's not as agile as Trey Lance, like you said. I think that Trey Lance as a whole is very mobile. I know Matt Miller is compared him to Lamar Jackson, which is just a joke. But I think he's more of a Dak Prescott kind of runner. I think
he's a Cam Newton.
Yeah,
like
he's
a Cam Newton.
He's a power runner.
He's like a tight end. Yeah, like a tight end going full speed ahead. The one thing I don't like about the he's not ready argument that a lot of people have, that he's more of a project, is that I feel like that's an unfair label to toss at him when he looks really good on film. He looks really smooth at the combine, or I'm sorry, the pro day. I watched a lot of video clips on him over and over last night, and I just feel like he's so smooth, and he knows when to pick up and run more than people give him credit. They just think, oh, he runs too much or whatever. But 28 TDs, zero INTs, kind of tells you that maybe his pocket decisions aren't that bad, or he'd have more interceptions. And I know that he had a lesser competition, but you could go back and say, you could play this game all day long. Fields had more talent. Fields had more dump off passes to improve that percentage, his passer rating. Like there's a lot of things you could argue back and forth when it comes to talent level, who you're playing. I mean, and then you get back to like, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs that played for small colleges. It happens all the time. Like I just think it's unfair to label him as a project when I feel like Fields and Lance are on the same exact level from a passing standpoint. Truly, I do.
Yeah, I don't think that Trey Lance is as agile as Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson or like Deshaun Watson. I think Trey Lance is very much a power runner. He's fast, he has plenty of speed, but he's a big guy. He's willing to put his shoulder into you for better or worse as a quarterback. But I think if you are talking about like the 49ers and like trying to scheme up the running game for the quarterback, Trey Lance does fit better than Justin Fields because Trey Lance is a guy you can give 10 carries to a game. I mean, he has the size and the body type to do that. Justin Fields, not a small guy, but I wouldn't want Justin Fields getting hit in the middle of the field 10 times a game. But Trey Lance, it's okay.
You wouldn't game plan it, right? But with Lance, you would, and I think Shanny's excited about that. I think they're looking at that going, wow, this adds another avenue, not just a couple plays, a whole new avenue to the end zone that they don't currently have, and that makes the Niners dangerous. If I'm looking at it from my Cardinals, I'm in Arizona. I don't know where you guys are all at, but that I'm more worried about, and I welcome the challenge because I don't want an easy game. I welcome it, but I worry more about Lance than I do Fields. And I feel like Fields, the whole he played for Ohio State, those quarterbacks don't translate. I'm not so much sold on that argument, but you look at some of his film and it's hit and miss whether he looks like he's capable of like going past the first read. There's a lot of negatives, I think, with Fields. Holds onto the ball a long time, but then you find film where he doesn't. So you kind of go back and forth, and I found myself doing that last night. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I'm like, no. Back and forth. But with Lance, I think he just fits better. It comes down to fit for the remaining three quarterbacks after Wilson and Lawrence are off the board. Yeah. But we'll see. Lance has a pro day, so he might get people excited, and people love the last thing they've seen. So the hype train is going to be out of control, and it already is with the Mac stuff. I don't know where the Mac Jones rumors are even coming from because everything that I feel is going to happen in here has nothing to do with him.
Yeah. A lot of smoke screens out there right now too, Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Does anyone else have anything else to say about this awesome mock draft that we did?
No, I'm pretty happy with my team. I'd be happy with my team. DeVonta Smith at 111. Loving that value.
I'm coming for him. Yeah, DeVonta Smith, I'm telling you, top 1 to 5 wide receiver of the future. This man knows what I'm talking about. But I truly believe that now is the time to go acquire picks that by default he'll be available. So if you're in a league where there's tight end, premium tight end value, he probably most certainly will be available from 5 on, because Chase will go the quarterback. Like, just find a spot where you're going to be comfortable waiting for him, and he'll fall. He'll be worth it. He's a top 5 wide receiver.
Yep.
Yeah. Not that Chase isn't. Okay, let me say that too. I think both these guys can find their way in the top 7. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Are you saying that they can both be good?
Hot take. Mic drop. Well, I mean, it's a deep wide receiver pool in the NFL right now, so it kind of is a hot take to say they're both top 5, top 6, top 7. I think one of them will be for sure 1 to 5. I think the other will be DK Metcalf, which will probably be Chase. And that's still like DK, you could rank him 4 or 7, and there's no disrespect on either side of that, because it's such a deep wide receiver pool that we have in fantasy football now. Like, DK going 14 or 15 overall is pretty par for the course sometimes later, and he could be the number 3, 4 wide receiver. So, I think that's respect for Chase. A lot of people think it's not. They're like, he's better than that, but I think 5 to 7 is perfect for him, and 1 to 5 for DeVonta, but neither one of them are you buying at that value. If you're in a startup draft, you're getting them so far outside of that, you're building in every single bit of risk you need to, because I think they earn their value back no matter what, wherever you draft them.
Sponsored by Pepsi now, apparently.
Not a sponsor.
But if they would like to sponsor us, as if Sleeper would like to sponsor us, we'll gladly slide into our DMs by all means. So let's close it out right there. Maddie is currently obstructed right now by the draft board, but you can see the beautiful draft board right there. You can find him on Twitter at Maddie Big Chest. Bob, where can we follow you at?
You can find me at BobVan_IDP, bringing you all the IDP rookie knowledge you need to win your drafts. The crazy thing about those drafts is there's value pushing all the way to the 5th round. 5th round, 6th round, huge value. So try an IDP league sometime. They're a blast. Like I said, those drafts get pretty wild. But this was a blast, guys. Mock Boys with a special guest and the CEO stopping in was a blast as always.
All right. And Nate, what about yourself?
Yeah, you can follow me at Nate NFL. Got 12 more prospects left before the draft, so hitting them up daily with your coffee.
What he means by that is there's still plenty of time to see Kylin Hill on
and
that
Nico
thread.
Collins.
And Nico Collins for sure. Smitty, before we head out, again, thank you so much for hopping on our channel for a little bit. We appreciate it. Big fan of yours. And tell everybody again where they can follow you and everything you do.
Smitty1.com is the easiest way to get all of my stuff in one place. But join me. All of you guys join me. I'd love to have you in the chat, talking about this stuff on Tuesday. But every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 hours straight, 4 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel, which you can find at Smitty1.com.
That's awesome stuff. 3 hours straight. Man, that's great. I give you all the credit in the world. I couldn't do it. But Smitty, thank you again.
I've done 2 24-hour live streams before, man, by myself, and those will kill you. 3 hours is nothing. Those were insane.
Wow.
But 3 hours. It still wears on you, but yeah, it's not the same as that.
And Smitty's out here grinding, man. Make sure you give him a follow.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
You doing any 24-hour streams like over the summer or anything like that? Or
I say no and then I do them. So I usually, I think if I do the next one I do, I'm going to do it differently. I'm not going to just stay in the studio myself, or I'm going to try and figure out how to get out and about. I tried to do that last time, but I had the flu on the second one. And so the first one I went about 25 hours straight, no sleep. I think I took like 2 small, like 1.5-minute bathroom breaks. The second one, I think I ended up calling it at like 18.5 hours because I had the flu, and I thought I was going to the hospital. So I was like, I almost got over the flu right before I went on, but then staying awake and doing all that just killed me and brought it all back. But, I did an 8-hour live stream on Super Bowl Sunday, and that was pretty cool. I think that's when I had Matthew Berry on. There's a bunch of good guests that came on, and then my next one I think we're going live. My next long live stream will be on draft day, so the whole first and second round will be live, and that's probably it for now. and I can envision something in like August. I may go live for like 12 hours, something like that.
I'll tell you what, that everybody, if you want to see how to get ahead in the fantasy industry, take some notes, Smitty1.com. That's where you're going to find everything out, all that good information that you need. Smitty1.com, and check out our link tree on our Twitter.
Appreciate
it. I didn't even know what a link tree was until he made it. But Smitty, thank you again. And everybody, you can find me on Twitter at Rewind CEO. I'd much rather you follow the show account at Dynasty Rewind. Hit up the Patreon, patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind. Tons of exclusive content there and an awesome group chat that sometimes I even talk in. So until next time, everybody, be kind, please rewind. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for listening to the Dynasty Rewind. Please make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, be kind, please rewind.